Hello, James here. I hope you're doing well on this holiday. Still into the holiday, uh, Memorial weekend. Decided to do one on Memorial. I ain't had nothing else to do today. Well, I'm going back to one of the usual characters I use. I've done videos before, and I'm going Dr. Umar Johnson. So I'm going to see where his points was and why we go back to this topic on interracial dating. Yes, he will not let this go, and I'm gonna make my commentary after this. And it's really interesting. There's certain things he pointed out towards the end is correct, but there's some things I don't understand.
Had a lot of conversations with people about this, have a lot of heated debates. People want to know, can you be pro-black and date outside your race?
Absolutely not.
And I got my good brother right here, who's an advocate, and he says that you can be pro-black and date outside.
Impossible. You cannot. Marriage is a business. When you get married, you commit your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, and your pocketbook, your savings, your estate, your wealth. You commit that to that person you're married to. See, when you marry, you don't marry an individual. You marry into a race. You marry into a community. So I didn't marry a Jewish woman. I married into Jewish society. I didn't marry an Asian woman. I married into an Asian family. There's no way you can claim to love black people, especially as a black man, knowing that only one out of every 4 black women will get married in her lifetime. We have the lowest female marriage rate in the country, 25%. That means 75% of black women will never ever know what it feels like to be proposed to. And if you care about the black community, you got to care about saving the black family, because the family is the essential institution of a community. And the only way you can save a family is to build a family. You can only build a family with a black woman. Absolutely not. You cannot talk black and sleep white. And why would the original man want a member of the race that enslaved and dehumanized you to carry your seed? Why would I, after the rape and the lynching and the slavery and the Willie Lynch and the Jim Crow and the police brutality and the economic apartheid and the gentrification and the AIDS and the Ebola, the West Nile, the COVID, the genetics, the eugenics, why would I want to take my original seed, God's seed, and put it in a cave-dwelling organism? Why would I want to do that?
We need to hear you, bro. The mic is yours, Ace.
Yeah. I want to incubate my son, my daughter, in the womb of the people who have destroyed my people in this world.
Now, let me say first, when I made this argument, I wasn't necessarily talking about white women. I mean, there's other races out there, but
And they hate you just as much.
but what I'm saying, all right. So you said yourself earlier that there are black people among us that are not for us.
True.
So with that being said, there are people of other races that are more for us than there are our people.
Describe for us, please.
When you go to protest for black rights and police brutality and stuff, and you see other races that are out there, and there are black people that would never be caught out there. You know what I mean?
Okay. So because
I'm just like that.
or a Caucasian showed up for a George Floyd march,
Right.
that means they give a shit about black people.
I'm just saying.
Let me ask you this. According to the Pew Research, they said 1 in 5 protesters during the George Floyd protest was black.
Okay.
4 out of 5 were non-black.
Right.
At least 3 out of the 4 were white. So the George Floyd protests were mostly white people.
Okay.
If white people care that much about black folks,
changes.
why didn't that woman who got Emmett Till murdered, why was she never arrested?
Still,
If white people care that much about black
After the
life,
confession.
why all these police that's going around killing black folks are not being held accountable? If white people care that much about black life, why don't we see it in the political and economic realities of black people?
Facts.
You know why they showed up to the George Floyd march?
What?
To dissipate the power of black people and to redirect the focus of those marches. White people outnumber black people 5 to 1. So if you let them in, they automatically take control by virtue of their numbers and redirect it. And so Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party turned the George Floyd March into a damn celebration for Joe Biden. Joe Biden votes in the Democratic Party. We got nothing out the march whatsoever because we let it get diluted.
Right.
You have to keep it all black. The minute you let white people in, because you can't control how many join. There's more of them than us here. You can't control how many join. So the minute you let them in, they now have the power to remake this into whatever they want. And because most Negroes who participated in the George Floyd March made it multicultural, every time we get on the microphone, this is not just about black people. I'm so tired of hearing that shit.
It is though.
Everywhere
It is
you go,
about us.
it is about us.
Yes.
But if you notice, when it's about us, it can't be about us.
Yeah. Can't just
See, when the Mexicans shut down the highways in California, nobody tried to multiculturalize that. You understand me?
You're not welcome here.
Absolutely. This is our thing. When the European Jews, this is our thing. But so when black people do it, we got to multiculturalize and do what? Kill the focus of it.
Holding hands.
Nobody wants black
Everybody.
people to be free, and they damn sure don't want you to be equal, and they definitely don't want you to have more than they do.
So let me help my good brother out, right? So some of the talking points when I do have these conversations with other black men or black women is that,
That's
procreating is part of being pro-black, right?
good on that
Procreating with
one.
another black person. So some people will say,
Before we get into that,
Okay.
what would be your description of a pro-black person?
I hate the term pro-black,
Okay.
because I never heard of a pro-Mexican or pro-Jew. This is how messed up we are. Not you for saying pro-black, but for you to have to define a black person as pro-black. Do you know what that means?
right?
That automatically means by contraindication that most black people are anti-black.
That's a fact.
Do you feel me? If I walk and you say he's pro-black, because this is what people say when they see me, it'll be 1,000 blacks. He's pro-black. Do you know what you're saying about everybody else in there?
Nah, Jen.
They're fucking coons. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're the only people, we're the people who are for us are the minority. Think about that.
But I think
You have to describe people who care about black people as pro-black. No other group has to do that.
I don't-
And
I
it
don't-
speaks
I
to
don't
how
think that-
much most of us are anti-ourselves.
I don't necessarily think that means you're anti-black, because usually when I think of the word pro, usually is the most extreme of something, right? This is why we have pro-life and everything else. When you put pro in front of something, that means the most extreme. I think people confuse being proud to be black with being pro-black. I think people are
I
proud
don't
to be
think
black.
I don't see how one could exist without the other.
What?
If I'm proud to be black, I'm pro-black. I'm for my people.
Yeah, but some people might say, like, when you look up the definition, it might say only supporting black-owned businesses or only to support
Yeah, they
everything
took
all
definition.
black. So when you say pro, it's the most extreme. I'm only buying from black people. I'm only reproducing. I'm only loving black people.
It will
only
be impossible
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
only
say.
buy from black people because we don't manufacture and sell everything that somebody needs in order to survive. For me, pro-black means always putting the best interests of my people first in any situation or any decision that I have to make.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? You ain't got to be super this. You ain't got to be a black superhero. But I'm going to put my people's interests above anything else in front, above the church, above the mosque, and above other minority groups. My people come first. That's all it means to me. And you ain't got to be extreme with it. You understand me? So people see me when I walk out on the streets. White people will stop and talk. Arabs will stop and talk. I got people follow my work of every race, and I will respect them as human beings. But when it comes to the struggle, none of your interests matter before my own people, because my people's interests will never matter before yours.
Introducing after.
I'm gonna say this right here. Most of it said was, well, to the end part, I can understand where you're coming from with that. But but the beginning where you say you can't love your people, you can still love your people and date someone of a different race. I mean, there's people that do. I mean, whether you date or marry, you don't ever forget that where you come from. But all the other stuff he said was pretty much spot on. I mean, there's some people that do, when they come over and they do take over majority of a certain demographic of people, it sure seemed like that it's going that direction when it really is about the direction. I've heard that argument before, and he's not the only one that made that statement about that. And You know, he has some good points in that video. I mean, sometimes he speaks some. There's some truth to it. Don't get me wrong. But but yeah, you can. But as far, but then again, it goes back when he talks about why black women are not getting married. Well, I think it comes down to a certain demographic, the mindset of the woman, whether she decides she wants to get married. It depends on the individual black woman. That's why the numbers are down, because it's like, if and then are they really willing to be a wife like any other woman want to be a wife? So that's a fair statement. But there are some black women are willing to be a wife. But the reason why they're not in mass number, because for various different reasons. I mean, some black women feel like they want to be a boss chick, like any other woman. Some black women want to be in their career. They're attractive and very good looking. Some black women are very materialistic, like some other women. So, very materialistic, and it's just about one thing. Some black women say, they put stipulation, I'll submit to you unless you make a 500 grand, but if you're not making I won't submit to you. And it's like these high standard. So, and then if you're a $40,000 $40,000 a year guy, if I'm about to say an hour, 40,000, then it's like you don't qualify. So with Umar, that's what I can honestly say. So if you have black women that make a 5-6 figure, some that work in 4-6 figure, they're gonna get an ego about it. It's not that black men don't want to marry some black women, but you got some black women that just don't. They think that you don't match to their bank account, and then if they don't match to their bank account, they ain't gonna really respect you in a certain way. Then like I heard what this one man says, like, what if you get into a disagreement and she throw that up in your face? Well, I'm supporting this house, but I'm making more than you do, and it's like, wow, who wants to be throwing that up in their face? And it's not your fault that you had the job that you had, but you're doing your part paying the bills. But anyway, so yeah, it varies. I mean, the other points he made was good, but it's true about other races of people. But at the same time, it depends on the woman, the demographic of women. But if they not getting, it has to go back on them. Are they ready to be married? For those black women are not being proposed, and some black women don't want to be proposed. And then you gotta have a demographic of black women. Some black women don't want to be bothered with black men no more. So you gotta take in two factors. But anyway, I'm gonna make one more comment after this one. After this next video, what this guy says. And he makes some good points in this video.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music. In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping.
A long time ago when I was a kid, I used to look at interracial relationships kind of funny. On both ends. I used to look at it kind of funny, like it didn't make sense. But then I started realizing who black women are. I started realizing the reasons why black men were dating out. And there are totally different reasons for why black women want to date out. Keyword want. I started seeing why black men marry out. And why black women marry out. Again, keyword one. Started realizing that black men started to date and marry out because black women were ungrateful, didn't want to be under their leadership. They wanted to just use black men resources, never want to build. Disrespectful to black men. Never listened. And the difference between that and black women wanting to date and marry out is just because of skin color. That's it. That's it. They wanted to date out just because of skin color. They wanted to marry out just because of skin color.
Yep.
Simple as that. All these videos I put out, what do black women say when it comes to Brad? They said they just want one, like he's a trophy. They don't tell you why. They don't say, hey, because of goals, ambitions, anything, nothing. Skin color, that's it.
Yep. Yeah. That's true.
So when you realize why black men date out and marry out, is basically they don't care what you are. Black men don't care what you are.
No.
As long as you under their program.
Right. That's true. That's true.
They didn't stop
true.
dealing with Keisha because of skin color.
That's right. No.
No. It's because of her attitude.
Bingo. Yes.
The way she carried herself.
Yes.
How she treated black men.
Yes.
Black women just wanted Brad. That's it. Skin color. Nothing else.
That's true.
The reason why I say this is because when Umar Johnson talks about dating out interracially, he always tried to shame black men, right?
Right.
Always tried to shame black men. A black man's greatest commitment is getting with a black woman, right? That's his saying all the time. That's what he said. So, what happened to your greatest commitment, Umar? Huh? Right? You got a couple of baby mothers, right? How come you never married them? Right? You're talking about the reason why you can't get
I'm
with
gonna play a video after this one.
a black woman now is because, you're in a public light, you're a public figure, and they have messy big mouths, right? Well, what about your children's mother? What about them? You made children with them, right? What happened there? How come they weren't good enough to marry? See, stop worrying about what black men are doing, because when you start talking about commitments to black women, you got children by black women. How come you didn't marry them? Huh? Huh? Umar? Pookie behavior. This is Pookie behavior.
Yeah.
Dr. Pookie Johnson. Dr. Pookie Johnson.
He's right though. I mean, you can't say that and he's saying what he said, and you don't follow give advice, and you don't take your own advice. You don't,
And when he talk about, he said that, the dominant society wants black people to procreate. Don't want black people to procreate. identifying with being black. Well, here's the thing there, right? You are what your father is, right? So if a black man procreates with a Becky, right? That child is black. Not only is that child is black, but when they get older, they also identify as black. Look at most children that are created by a black man and a Becky. They identify as black. The ones who don't identify as black and aren't black is the ones that, when Keisha procreates with Brad. When black women procreate with Brad, right? When black women procreate with Brad, these kids grow up to end hating themselves. They grow up not liking who they are, grow up wanting to stay away from being black because Brad, their father, is constantly making them feel insecure with his racist taunts and practicing racism within his own home. Y'all seen that video I put up, right? This Keisha knew that she was getting with a racist Brad, right? She knew she was going to have children with him. She knew that this was going to be an issue, and she didn't care. And what did that little girl say? What did that little girl say to herself? What did that little girl? Y'all seen the video? What did that little girl say? She said that she's afraid because she believes that she's not appealing to white men. Why? Because her father is constantly making fun of her skin color. So when they grow up, they don't identify with being black at all. So when you're talking about identifying with being black, the only thing you can talk about is creations from, when Brad and black women procreate. That's the only demographic of people you can talk about when it comes to black children, or children growing up not identifying with being black. Only that demographic. Children born from black men and Becky grow up to identify as being black.
Next time, don't save all your passwords on your notes app. Okay? Bye-bye.
To identify as being black. So, when the dude is a grifter, right? The dude is a grifter. The jig is up with him, right? The jig is up. There's no school. He uses his platform to try to get with women. You done seen that plenty of times. And, the guy been exposed so many times. He has no, if he was so hard pressed with a Becky, right? Or hard pressed not being around a Becky or talking to a Becky, he done got caught so many times with being with a Becky. Now, I'm not saying he got caught in a relationship. He got caught talking to them. He got caught, having long discussions with them, right? He got caught being out in public with them, right? Right? So you don't mind being around them. You don't mind. children with black women, yet you do not acknowledge that you created a broken home. You created broken homes. That's what you did. You're not there. You're not in the household. These children are growing up without their father in the home. Because you're too busy out here still trying to grift. PayPal is more important to you than your own children. This is you. So stop worrying about black men and what they're doing, because one thing you can say about these black men, right? If these black men get with a Becky and procreate with them, they take care of their children. That's one thing. These black men take care of their children. You know, they a lot of times they don't have to worry about, you know, certain things they have to, when they with Keisha, they don't have to worry about a lot of things that goes down with Keisha. You know, I tell you all the time, your lives be in jeopardy dealing with a Keisha. So a lot of times they're able to raise their children. They're able to make sure that they groom them into decent human beings. They're around for their children and their children's lives. What about you? Are you in your children's lives? Absolutely not. You're too busy trying to grift. You're too busy trying to grift. Do those donations go to the child support? Huh? Yeah, stop worrying about black men and worry about yourself. Pookie Johnson.
Pookie Johnson. Yeah. And another thing is that, I mean, it's a certain demographic of that does happen in some families where a interracial child go through something like that. In some cases, it's not in all cases, but in some cases that does happen. But yeah, you just need to kind of, you know, and that's why I said he says one thing, but how can you lead and people take you seriously when are you applying it for yourself? Are you doing that for yourself? Are you spending time? You know, because he likes to be on camera, and at some time you hear some people, at least they talking with their kids in the background or something. Well, you don't ever hear him talking to his kids in the background. You know what I mean? I can see not showing them on camera, but man, you don't even see him talking to them. He don't talk much about them. Since the beginning, about 6, 7, 8 years ago, and just mentioned one time about their mother, but he don't mention about them. I'm just saying. And they need a father figure. But you know, he does make a good point. But this is just to validate what he was saying. This is what he said in this next video. He said it himself.
Hey, boss. Okay.
He said this, so he ain't just saying this.
Oh, that's good, everybody. Here's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. As you guys know, I am a big fan, as well as a critic, our brother Dr. Umar Johnson. I believe he's able to put things into perspective of what is going on with the black struggle. And he does a very good job conveying that through his teachings. He's a very great black-minded intellectual, if I can say that. One of the best we have currently in the world. Unfortunately, Dr. Umar Johnson is imperfect, just like the rest of us. And he's a big advocate of why black men should not be engaging in interracial marriage. This is something I also believe in. I've been more adamant about it as of late, but I've always felt like this. I just haven't really come out and said it. You guys hear me talking about it more because I'm more open with some of my pro-black thoughts more than ever.
but I've always felt like that. Anybody who knows me know that. But Dr. Umar Johnson has a very interesting video, and there is going to be a contradiction, but I want you to hear his diatribe here on Dr. Umar Johnson, interracial marriage is a trap.
I believe in protecting people's privacy, just like I need people to protect my privacy. That's why I'm not married now, because women don't know how to protect your privacy when you're in the public spotlight. They got to run and tell everybody they know you. That's why I'm single now. If you can't protect my life's work, you can't walk with me. Nothing worse than a messy ass big mouth woman. Nothing's worse.
So that's on one hand. However, Dr. Umar Johnson admits that he's never, there's a reason for why he's not gotten married. Let's play that clip.
The reason why they want African people to mix your seeds with non-Africans, especially Europeans, but non-Africans, number one, to reduce the amount of black people in this country who identify as black. Stay with me. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. I'm going to say it again. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. I'm going to say it one more time. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. Now, some of you are going to say, Dr. Umar, you just said mixed race Africans are African. Yes, I did. But a lot of mixed race Africans don't identify as African. From 2000 to 2010, we saw the amount of Africans who call themselves mixed race on the U.S. Census grow exponentially. From 2000 until Barack Obama's election, from the year 2000 to mixed race Obama's election, we saw the amount of blacks who disidentify from being African American into being mixed race, multicultural, biracial. It grew up. So the more black people mix their seed, the smaller the amount of black people appear on paper. Listen to me. The more mixed race Africans identify as something other than African, the smaller our population appears to look in this country. I'll give you an example. According to the 2020 census, black America is 14% of the country. According to the 2020 census. The 2000 census, we were 17%. The 2000 census, we were approximately 17% of America. Right now, they're saying we're 14% of America. My question to you, what happened to that 3% of African Americans?
So, on one end, Dr. Umar Johnson, I just want you guys to understand Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar travels all over the black world, despite many of his shortcomings. Dr. Umar is going to be scheduled here in Uganda, I believe, in 2 months' time. All of these trips are paid in full. He has an illustrious social media following. He gets donations out to Yin Yang, and one of the things that Dr. Umar Johnson also gets, there's a lot of attention from women. That's something that the average guy don't get. So for those of us who are from a city, small city, we don't leave our city, and you may not have what you would feel a lot to choose from in a black woman. That's not Umar, right? Umar would not have that situation because Umar comes across, I mean, the kind of women that Umar can get, most of us can't get that. If we really want to be honest. That's just the reality. Umar is dealing with a lot of women there that the average guy just can't touch. If we really want to be honest. The average guy can't get what Umar is dealing with. So Umar is dealing with women who are beautiful, women who are successful. Yet what Umar has just said that's the reason why I'm not married now. on the one hand, you want black men to stop dealing with white women and interracial dating, but then you're saying that you don't trust black women because all you date, because you feel that they're all messy. So, Doc, which is this? And I understand that we are, none of us are perfect, right? But you can't come on here teaching that black men need to marry black women and build with them, but at the same time, you don't want to get married because you can't trust them because they're going to tell all your business. But what is the business that you're trying to hide, Doc? That's the next question, because as black men, we got to be accountable sometimes.
Exactly.
Certain brothers who are doing very well, such as Dr. Umar, I believe that the brother feels that he should be allowed to do, things that he would like to do. Kind of like, don't do as I say, do as I don't do as I do as I say, kind of brother. So when you're interacting with these women,
at Avis, we rent cars, unlike anyone else rents cars, because
say, kind of brother. So when you're interacting with these women, are you afraid that some of your behavior is going to come out, that you're lying about certain things?
Right.
Are you afraid that
Right.
there are things that you are doing you ain't got no business doing?
Right.
Because you wouldn't have the excuse that you don't have the contact of these black women who are coming from, equipped educations, they're intellectuals, they would be down with the polygamy situation. Are you trying to say that black men can't trust black women, Dr. Umar Johnson? Because if you're saying that, and if you're one of the top elite black men that have access to, then by that logic, these black men need to give up. If you can't trust them, and I don't believe that's the case. Dr. Umar Johnson wants to do whatever the hell he wants to do with these women, and then they're supposed to be okay with it.
Right.
That's what the real issue is.
Right.
Negroes will say everything, and this is the person that bigs the black woman up. So the thing is, you out here probably engaging in things, whatever it could be, that you ain't got no business in doing. So now the women don't want to go by that, and then they're going to tell it because you lied about something. Now you're saying that's not why you married.
Right.
Well, it could appear also, because you cannot say at the same time. You black men don't need to marry these black women. But then at the same time, Doc, come out and say something to the effect of, the reason why I'm not married right now because these women is messy. What about your behavior is making those women messy?
Right. Right.
What is it about you?
Right. That's true.
Because we can't say all black women are like that, because look at LeBron James' wife.
Right.
Look at Chris Paul's wife.
Right.
So now, how can Russell Westbrook and these other black men and their wife don't say a word, but you can't find somebody to say a word because it's something that you're doing that you ain't got no business doing.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And instead of you coming out and owning up to that,
Right.
that you probably don't know how to really interact with the fame or you can't handle it, then you come out and then you say, that's why I'm not married now. You probably don't really want to be married.
Exactly.
It seems like what you want to do is live life how you want to live life, but then go around and have the nerve to tell these black men that they ought to not do X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
When the reality is that you don't want to do that either.
Exactly.
And I understand the temptation when you are going across city to city, dealing with a lot of different women throwing themselves at you. But I think that's kind of weak to say, well, these women is messy. Because if that's the case, then you can never get on camera again and say and tell black men to go wife up black women because you're saying that they all messy and they gonna tell everything. Which ain't the truth. There's a lot of women that go through it. I'm not even trying to cape for them.
Right.
There's a lot of women that take a lot of men's secrets to their graves.
Right.
The issue with you is you just can't stop thotting it up.
Right.
Because if you're saying what you're saying, you can't talk on relationships no more in black America about nothing. At least me, I can say, hey, you got sisters out there that will tell on you, but at least you're sisters you can work with. That's true. But because Umar has such a proclivity to be out here in these streets with these girls, and he can be sort of reckless, and y'all know I am in the Pan-African community. I've talked to people. I won't call no names. Bruh needs to do a little bit more chilling on what he's talking about. Because if you was living your life like you're supposed to, you wouldn't be really coming across the mess
And and the thing about it is, some people really take his opinion for value. I mean, he speaks some truth, but he don't even follow his own truth. I mean, Jesus, how you gonna tell you to do something and he's not following his own protocol? See, a leader, if he's trying to be a leader leads by example. Because it seems like he want to be the face, the Pan African face of it. Well, you are accountable when you're a leader, and you should be, because that's what he's been trying to proclaim and get people and get the vast majority of black people to look at him in a sense like a leader. Well, if that's the case, then and you preaching this, then you need to be living what you preaching. I mean, it's just it is what it is, and it's being and sell down because you laid down an example. That you see other black men saying, yeah, this dude is legit. He's married black. He's in his black children's life, and then when they see that, and they okay, but other than that, they're gonna criticize you. Number two thing. This is a generational. I believe it's different generation, different aspect of life. It depends. A lot of young people are going to do what they're going to do. This is a different generation. They're not going to see from the Gen Zs to the millennials. They're going to look at life a little bit different than the Gen X or baby boomer. That's just the way. That's just a fact. And they don't really harp on that stuff. I noticed that they don't. Because they've been through some things, but they're not at a decade in a dimension to completely understand whatever it is, because it's a different era, it's a different generation. So they're going to take they're kind of, some kind of hear you and some kind of blow you off kind of mentally. And I imagine that some are listening to that message, but they see how the way you, and they even could call you and say you being a hypocrite. Number two thing is that it goes back to the black woman. She has to do her part to make a choice. Do she want to be married? Is she mature enough to be married? If she, or is she willing to understand it takes two to compromise? It takes two to work things out. There's no, every couple in life have a hard, there's ups and downs. Any couple that's a loving couple had their ups and downs. Or you willing to throw on the towel because something don't go right? Because from what I've heard from married couples, they always say it takes work. Anybody been married 20, 30, happily married for 30, 40 years, it takes some time, it takes work, it takes trust, it takes cooperation to come together. So, but if you got a woman dealing with a woman with a big ego, whatever, and a man don't want to deal with that ego. He don't want to wrestle with that male dominating spirit in that woman. That's what he don't want to do. A nagging, controlling little spirit woman that wants to dominate you. She wants to program you to her set instead of you coming together. That's another thing why and there are some black women are like that. Some, just like any other woman, but they want to control you. They want to dominate you. They want to manipulate you. They want to be materialistic. The reason why, that's the truth. That's why some men don't want to deal with that. And then some black women are single because by choice, because they know they're too much to handle it. Maybe someone, maybe someone dedicate themselves to God. Say, I don't want to deal with no man. God is the only one I need in my life. That could be the case too. Because not everybody wants to be in a relationship, and not everybody wants to be married. Women as well as men. So you got to take into a fact. So if you ain't got men and women not coming to get together, and you got this woman that wants to put everything into her career, put everything into this, and don't have time to really know how to balance it, her education, her job, and learn how to be a woman and don't mind being feminine and submissive in a way of a woman, not submissive as in, you know, you got to be at home and cook to me, you know. But if you don't do it out of love, what good is it going to do? What good is to be in a relationship with somebody if they don't want to do the things for you? You do things for each other. So if you got a woman that don't want to think like that, what's the sense of being with them? That's what you got to consider. And that's why some men, black men and black women are not together. It's because, you know, you have this ego, you know this, and there's some strong-minded women among our women. You know, they're very strong-minded. They set in their ways. They, you know, there's some, or you can't listen, you can't recognize with some of them. When they on point, you can't, and it's like, and then it's a constant battle with ego. And sometimes black men, it could go the other way too, at times. But that's the reason why they're not probably getting together, because you have pride and ego getting in the way. There's no relationship compromising. So therefore, that kills a relationship right there and create more single mothers with children because they stuck in their way. And then when they meet the wrong guy, black guy, then they want to take it on you. Then if they get a good guy, they don't know how to handle it. They think he's too soft, he's too weak, he's just too perfect. I've heard women say he's too perfect for me. You got women that say stuff like that. You know, and then some deep down you find out really either they're about to go to another woman as a relationship, or go to a man, a non-black man. So Dr. Umar has to really look at each individual cases when it comes to black women, instead of, because like some black men do, and this is a fact. You know, some black women get hurt by a black man. That's it. It's over. It's a wrap. They don't want to forgive. You know, they look at you and they look at every black. There are some that look at black men, and I'm telling the truth, like they're the enemy of mankind. So, you know, what do you do? It's like, and it's like men like myself who are by ourselves. What do you do? So you're gonna go to the next thing. But if they're telling you and they ostracizing you in this country as a black man and make you feel inadequate, there are black men. There's a report that black men are having a high, you know, depression and mental rate among all men because they got so much to deal with. So if he don't have that support from his woman, you know, and don't have the understanding, then what is he supposed to do? Is he gonna get depressed, and depression takes on another physical aspect of mental health, and then they go downhill, and then they leave this world earlier than what it is through alcohol and substance abuse and things like that. So you got to consider that a factor too, and then you know you constantly being beat down, you know, because you know they took the black man's image in this country and just destroyed the strong heterosexual black male, and you know they get every, as far as a heterosexual black male, he's off his rocker and everything else. And who wants to get with and in this country, that's how he's athletic, but he's reckless. So as a society, they did that they destroy when it comes to a strong heterosexual black male in every way and fashion. So that's why the black male, some black male who's able to take their passport and go to some part of the world, because this country, well, it did its number on us. So that's one thing. Then you got your own women they say you ain't making enough for my standards because of my ego, my body, because I got a nice behind and pretty lips and pretty breasts, and that's what. So they have. So and then we said, oh wow, she's a nice looking sister, and there's some black women know that they got it going on, but they have turned their looks into a god. It's the truth. They turn their looks into a god, and so they get some kind of ego problem. So there's black men that got to deal with that don't even give you time of day. I made a video a long time ago, like any woman under the age of 65 ain't gonna give you no time. She ain't gonna hardly want to look at you and speak to you. Why is it? And so another thing, when black men go, because maybe the women that they come across, whether they're white or other women, have a good persona and approachable personality. Any black man ain't too many black women in this country. You're gonna approach them without some stuff. They're gonna get very defensive. they and they just but most of them get very defensive, and then they'll mock you. They'll laugh at you. They will. They don't think you're not their type because you don't fit a certain category. You got. I've seen professional black women, and they go with the Pookies and the Ray Rays. They do because, like, wow, and you'll see a perfect. I kid you not. There'll be a woman that she had no kids. She's beautiful, successful. Will chase down the man. Then all he got to do is throw some slick talk, whatever. And he got 10 kids out, 5 baby mamas in 3 different cities, and that woman will let her get her knocked up, and then he gonna do the same thing to her. He like her body. He get the game. He get out of it. Soon he planted the seed. 6 months later, she asked him, thinking that he's gonna be the one that's gonna marry her. He don't want to marry her because he's trying to be some Pookie. He's trying to jump from one bed to the other bed, and so they get mad at some black men. The rest of the black men who got things going on or who trying to come up in the game, you say that some of us don't qualify. This is what you do, but it's all you don't want to take accountability of the decision that you make. Then when you meet the good man, you trying to drive him to his grave, drive him to the prison or drive him to the grave. It's the God's honest truth. And so they. Some black men say, I ain't gonna go to the grave behind you. I'm going to an early grave, and I'm not going to prison messing behind you. I'm not gonna get myself jacked up behind you because then you're gonna turn back around and just say, well, I guess he was a real dude after all. And then some of them contradict the one, because when they how black people use the N-word in our conversation. Yeah, that's what they really want. There are black women that talk like that, but that's what they really want. They really want that kind of man. It's the truth. And so Umar has to take it to the fact of that. So that's the reason why if black children being born and black couples being married is because you got to look at both sides. And that 9 chances out of 10, that's the case. And like that, there's some black men that will stay with black women, but they feel like they never qualify, they never measure up. You got women coming online saying, I can't date a man that's a bus driver. I can't get with a man that's a truck driver. I can't get with a man that is a warehouse manager. And he making 40 grand. I need somebody that makes 200 and 300 grand a year. Why? Because even if he did have a college education, he probably got to worry about paying back them student loans. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Then you got to be paying back the loans for the next 10, 15 years, like anybody else do. But it's like, you don't want that, but you get jealous at the men who didn't go that route, found an entrepreneur way to find and go another way. Then when they find a woman that really stand by them, it just happened to be another woman, you get mad, but you didn't want to be bothered, but you didn't want to take the time out to walk these steps with this man to get where he's at. You want the finished product, and then you want to be filled. Then I have seen, like you seen some black women, some women with celebrities. They get the baller like a Stephen Curry or a basketball player, and then you get some black women like what's one of the Maury twins. They get the black man, then they're not even happy then because like they want to go back and feel like they want all this accolade, vanity, attention, whatever. When they still, that's why it's still in their 40s and their 50s, still single, and so they want accolades. They want to be self-validation, and they miss that point. So they kind of back down. They're not even some women ain't really to take their looks and with gratitude and humility. It is. They turn their body into a goddess. Worship. That's all what it is. And so they, you get all these men say, yeah, so they go out and get all this surgery, getting their breasts and their butt pumped up, just to impress, really say, outshine other women. And some of the body parts is fake. Just like, and it's not just in America, but in other places. When men are looking for something legit, if it ain't natural, it's legit. But you got women that do that just for vanity. That's why. There's why. And some men want real. They want something real, but they want the personality. We want the feminine, the nurturing, the nature of a woman. We don't want no masculine. I don't know any man of any race want a masculine ass woman. I don't know any man don't want that. But you come off like that, and then you don't really listen when we tell you. You don't listen. You want to make assumption why you want this. You make assumption. You assume things, and you don't even know what. So we communicate in two different languages. That's the truth. That's why. That's why they're gone, and that's why there was a movement called Passport Bros. That's why you leave. That's why they're leaving. Then you said they're not qualified. You're making 50 grand. You're not qualified. You making 100 grand. Well, I'm a truck driver. You don't qualify. I'm making 60 grand. I'm a pipe fitter. You don't qualify. You too nice. You don't qualify. You don't have dysfunction in your life. You ain't shooting other dudes and getting in fights and quarrels and stuff. You don't qualify. That's what you do, and you got that kind of. You don't move at dysfunction, so you're attracted to dysfunction. You're attracted to the look, but you're also attracted to the person that got the look and dysfunction. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I hope I get a lot of likes on it because it's a fact. And Umar has to, and that's the reason why. Black men are just like any other man. No man wants to be living like that for the rest of their life. With that mess. So we tend to gravitate to the women that can bring less stress and bring happiness and joy to our life. And black men, like any other man, we need to smile and enjoy life a little bit more better. It's hell in this country because everything is built on the penis envy aspect anyway. Let's call it what it is. Look at commercials and TV and movies. They make you like either you bisexual, you're alone, you're miserable. They don't make you out to be the hero and getting the woman. Make you desirable. They don't do that. So they set the image. So naturally other women want the image. I'm just saying. But anyway, I didn't want to be preachy, but this is a fact. And so that's what it comes down to. That's why. And we only go where we want it. And if your woman don't tell you don't qualify, you're not wanted, you don't measure up because the type of work that you do, the type of personality that you have, you're not gonna sit around and accept less from some dude that they don't appreciate it. And why do I have to go behind some dude? Because he's a real ninja, as they say. And that's the only thing you respond. And that got to be the side nice guy. Oh, heck no. I'm telling women of America, it's over. Ain't no side nice guys no more. Some was nice guys that had it. We didn't had it up to here. We don't even want to rock with you. There are men that turn away and they just turn off and just said, I don't want to be bothered no more. I'm like, damn. They stopped dating and everything in this country. So that's why they're single. Because women here there's a lot of women don't appreciate what they have here. So there's some men encouraging other men, get fit, get your funds up, because there's another woman where it's more majority of women that really want a man that's not trying to be the man, not trying to transform into a man, and they would appreciate and dominate who you are as a man. Regardless your personality, your body type, whatever, it's your personality we gotta deal with. Because God would make you into into the man he designed for her to be. And that's what some American women don't understand, that it takes a process, takes time for God to make a man to a husband, like he make a woman to a wife. And you have a lot of American women don't appreciate that. They don't. They want their way and only their way. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video short. Sorry I made this kind of long, but hey, so that's your answer. That's the reason why. And Umar, you probably would never see his video, but my advice is, if you're gonna lead, tell by example. You can't advise somebody if you're not leading by example. No one takes you seriously if you're not leading by example. Because people watch you. People are talking, and people watch your walk. So you're gonna say something, you gotta lead by what you do. If you gonna lead it, then you gotta set the example. If you wanna be a leader, you gotta set the example. You're trying to lead your people, you gotta set the example. You can't sit back and chastise and dictate if you ain't doing it yourself. Yeah, if you're trying to be a king and you think somebody calling you a king, a prince, whatever, it's your obligation to step up. That's fact. No one's going to listen to someone if they're not leading by example. No young person is going to listen. I want to sit up there and tell, yeah, you get your 50. This is what you do: you get a $50 million house, but yet I'm living in an apartment. I mean, if I'm not in a $50 million looking house, that makes sense, don't it? Anyway, all right then, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, take care. And yeah, and last but not least, worry about the black men who's been faithfully with the black women. Don't worry. They're black men. They're gonna stick with black women no matter what. No matter what. And just focus on them black men. But other black men, it's just it. You don't have to call them out their name. They just made a conscious choice. Same with the black women. If they choose to marry outside their race, you don't have to call them a name. Maybe there's some black men that haven't measured to their point. Maybe if they're cool and maybe they cause trauma to them for whatever reason, it's on them. But at the end of the day, it takes two, not one. Remember, relationship takes two people. Give and give. That's how relationships go. Ask anybody who's been in a relationship for a certain amount of time and still in a relationship. It takes two, not one. So I hope let this be a lesson to anybody. No relationship lasts long if you just bought one person and one person's happy. It takes two, and it takes two people to make a decision to stay together. Two, not one. All right then. That's my tidbit for today. Till next time, take care.